All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Wild&Wingless. Here on episode 5, I've got Ray Eggins from the Northern Rivers Club. Ray, thank you very much for joining me tonight. How are you feeling?
Yeah, great. Yeah, thanks for the invite.
No, anytime, mate. Look, a lot of guys know you from up on the East Coast, especially up around the Northern Rivers, Brisbane area, that sort of stuff. But for the guys who are watching from Victoria and all the rest, give us a bit of a background on your story, on your racing, and how you came to Wingless.
Look, I migrated out of racing dirt mods, so I sort of been around dirt mods. I've done it for 27 years, and right through the middle of COVID, young bloke, Mason Cattell, gave me a drive in his car all that year, and I just got to the end of the year and said, "This is it. I'm buying one of these things. These are unreal fun."
It was that quick,
Great bang for their buck, you know.
Yep. So you've relatively only been in the Wingless division for a couple of years.
3 in that orange car, and I've done a full season in Mason's car. But I've jumped in and out since about 2011, just doing drives here and there for Mick Santin's car and Warren King's car and Trent Martin's car. Just jumping in, guys would go, "Hey, jump in it." They were trying to hook me in, get out of that dirty old dirt mod and get in this thing. But I still had the dirt modified hook still stuck right in my lip. So
yeah, and then
eventually shook it loose.
Yeah, nice. So you finally got rid of that. That's good. Yeah, that orange car behind you, is that the one? I'm just looking at the photo behind you. That would be the same car, isn't it, that you ran this season?
Yeah, that's it. I think that was this season. That was that big shack that takes a lot of photos.
Yeah. He does some awesome photos. Yeah, right. So
he came up. Yeah, he came up to me and gave that to me over Christmas. He just went, "Here you go, Merry Christmas."
What an awesome
pretty
fella.
Cool. He's got all around the outside. You can see, because he asked me for some photos of me history of racing, and I sent him a couple of photos of motorbikes and BMX and a couple of dirt mods on the bottom there. He just stuck them around the outside and just got written. You can't see it in small writing there. It's got lifetime of racing and loving it.
Yep. So. Well, it's very true. Well, yeah, no, I do remember your car when we went up to Lismore there to race at the Australian titles this year. Very bright. I don't know how you can't miss it. Yeah, it's one of those things. But also, not only that, so you've been racing around, but you've also started to get a bit of a following. You're starting to help the division up there, Northern Rivers side of things, trying to help that grow, aren't you? Tell us more about that.
Look, the wingless class, I think, is quite easy to promote. It's quite easy. People walking by in other classes like street stockers and coming out of juniors. Every second junior I talk to and go, "Hey, you need one of these wingless," And I'm always sort of throwing out the fishing line, trying to grab someone.
Yep.
So, yeah, but they're a good class. If you're coming out of juniors or you're coming out of another class trying to jump into something, and they've got good speed for their dollars you lay down on them, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely they do. So one thing, notice you've sort of helped, and you're helping them get into the sport. You've been you're sort of like the unofficial president of Northern Rivers or something like that. Well, that's what you consider yourself. Yeah.
I don't know what. Yeah, I suppose that's what you. I just call myself the delegator.
Delegator, there we go. The delegator. Okay, I like that one.
Yeah, I just sort of point here and go, "Let's do this or do that." And I've got Ian O'Toole and Trent Martin and Butcher and Aaron DeHoon, blokes I just bounce stuff off. Because I don't want to make out like Hitler. Just you do it my way. I try and talk to everybody and make sure everybody's happy.
Yeah. No, I mean it's been great what you've been doing. I've been watching us from afar, and as I've been going with this episode, even before I started doing this podcast, your name was coming up a lot when I'd speak to some people I knew to what I was trying to achieve, which was just basically to give our division a voice and a platform. One thing, so, okay, all right, let's, I've spoken about it a lot already, but let's get your take on the Australian title at Lismore there. Did you attend the Australian title at Archfield the year before?
I took Mason up. I didn't race myself.
Okay.
I just wasn't in the mood for it at that time, so I just didn't go. But I said to Mason, "I'll take you up and hang out and crew." And Mason had a bit of a rough time the first night, but gathered himself up, had a good sort of B main, and sort of got involved in a crash. But yeah, it was a good race up there. But yeah, like Lismore, what Lismore done with promotional was just unbelievable. It spun me out because I've seen a lot of titles with dirt mods. Have been probably had about 3 or 4 titles, and I have. Even they had one up just late, just a year or 2 ago, and it wasn't to that caliber.
No.
Yeah, it must have been the previous year because Mick and Kim have only had it 2 years. So, but yeah, and I was so envious looking up there, watching those guys coming out of that pavilion through that, and I was just looking at it going, "Gosh, I would have loved to have been part of that."
Yep.
You know, and I bet for everybody who didn't make the final nearly thought the same thing.
Yeah, maybe I should speak to more people about that. It was, as I keep saying, I was unaware. I remember that night, like that night when the main was coming, the A main was coming. We were pretty relaxed. I mean, we thought the track was going to go one way on the first night and went the opposite way. So we had this poor Tyson had a pogo stick he had to drive, and then the next night we thought, we're on top of this now. Let's go this way, and then we had the rain. We went the wrong way again. But I recall we were just sort of laying back on the ramp of the trailer, just sort of talking. Me and Trent just having a bit of a chat to each other, and I might have been even speaking to Blido. And then it's like Tyson was gone, everyone was gone. I'm thinking, what's going on? And then I wish I knew it was on because it was just. I had the Clayview playing live, and it was when I saw that I thought, what are these guys doing? Like, how far have they gone? Like, everything from the Calcutta they did on site there to the promoting side, the food vans they had. Like, I remember when we left to go up there, because we had the truck and the madam and all that, packed everything up. I was worried about food, man. We had some great food, as you knew. They packed the place out with awesome food vans, and then the pyrotechnics, man. I'm still a kid at heart. I love pyrotechnics. You see a bang, I'm looking, I'm loving it. But yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Like, did you get involved much in the preparation or anything like that to do with the Australian title? Were you involved in any of the behind the scenes stuff?
They sort of kept me in the loop, and we talked about a few things, but it was pretty well all their ideas. You know, it was just awesome. I was amazed at the whole system.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? Okay, so how'd you end up in the Australian title anyway?
I had an absolute shocker the first night. My steering box broke.
Oh, really? Wow.
And my spare one broke the week before, so I had no spare.
Wow.
And everybody's I borrowed didn't fit. It had different fittings, so I couldn't change. So I Armstronged it the whole. I've still got pulled muscles in my arms from trying to drive the thing, and yeah, that was too hard for an old bloke.
Wow, trying to drive no power steering. That's incredible.
No, it was just it was really hard, and I've said this a lot. The wingless are actually hard in the steering compared to say a dirt modified. Dirt modified, you drive them like this, you know, but the wingless actually, when they start leaning on their front end, really sort of yank on your arms. So I don't know why.
Okay.
Such a half the weight car, but they're hard in the steering.
Yeah, right. I
anyway, it's the dirt mods. I used to have a 12-to-1 box, but I ran that 12-to-1 box the following week, and it didn't really change it. But anyway, we've changed the box the next night, and I had a good heat and B main, but couldn't get it done. Couldn't get in, you know. And I happened to get the B main where Hobson sort of took a position.
Yeah.
So that you unqualified. I was like, oh man.
Yeah. I remember that being talked in the pits, that one.
But anyway, I sort of moved forward from I think it was like 9th to 4th, and I was chewing at one of them Claxton hat fellas, the long-haired fella. I can't got CSR or something on his car.
Oh, yeah, he became an Australian, not New South Wales driver. Shane Sheedy.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah, he is a character, isn't he? Jeez, the stories about Shane, but we're not allowed to say that. What goes on the road stays on the road. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I caught up to the back of him, and he was just being too tidy and neat. So that was it. Just followed him home, but nice. I was happy with the night, and I was a bit surprised at the end. They gave me best presented car or something like that. So.
Oh, come on! You can't say. I mean, don't get me wrong. You had some great looking cars there, but you always turn out a nice piece too. Like you can't miss yours. It was very nice, and I think it was well deserved. I think everyone agreed with that, so that was a very good call.
Yeah, well, I had to hand it to old Super Sally. She's the one that keeps it shining like a new penny.
Yep. She had her work cut out for her, that's for sure.
Oh, she's a legend. She's the best picker I've had.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, yeah, she puts up with us, doesn't she? So that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, so after the Australian title, we had a bit of a break, all the rest, but then we went back. You guys went back for the Chile Nationals.
Yep.
Now, again, people are going to be like, "Oh, we've heard all about this," but this is the guy. This was his idea. This is his brainchild. This is his thing. So, tell us all about the Chile, how it came about, what you guys did. Yeah, please tell us all about that.
Well, it started off last year. At the start of the year, with me, Mick, and Kim just standing around yakking, and Mick and Kim said they wanted to build a big race for lower divisions, and they were actually talking like street stock and something like that. And I went, well, I reckon what you need is Amcas and wingless. And I said, all the rest can come along and sort of fill the gaps, other classes, and if they get keener, they might fill too. And anyway, it didn't really go any further than that. Next minute, I heard they're going to have this race meeting, going to call it wasn't called the Chile Nationals going into it. It was just a race meeting in June. And it was that bloody cold there. And we're all standing around fire drums. We're looking around for wood and drums and everything we could burn. And I was walking around going, we should call this thing the Chile Nationals. And it just stuck all right through. And all year, everyone's talking till this year. And that's where the name's really stuck. But it kind of wasn't my own idea. The race meeting was put together by Mick and Kim, but it was a little seed that was planted, and they grew it. They watered it.
So, yeah, right. So
yeah, but yeah,
being between the two events that you've been to, you feel it's growing. I mean,
oh yeah. Look, last year we had 38 cars, which surprised us that many came. This year we had a clash of dates, so that hurt us. We had about 26 cars, I think. 24 maybe turned up.
Oh,
so
okay, yep.
It felt a little bit, it felt a little bit down, sort of thing. But man, the racing turned into unreal. The racing was awesome all weekend. That Stewie Jeffries actually texted me from Gladstone on the Saturday night after the final and said, do you reckon I'll make the final? And I said, well, there's only 19 cars running at the moment. He goes, I'm on my way. Yeah. And he drove from Gladstone, stopped over for a 2-hour sleepover, then come down and race because he just wanted to know that he could get through to the 50 lapper.
Really?
So, yeah. And it was great. It was good on him for doing that,
Yep. So. No, I did hear stories about a car from Queensland coming down that was racing up at Gladstone there. So it was Stewie Jeffries. He's the kick-ass car, isn't he?
That's it.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Got it. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good effort for someone to travel that far to do the meet. I know.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. And so you guys had it was all set and done the first night. It was a good, successful night, I think. And then I had friends of mine racing legend cars, obviously wingless guys messaging me and so forth throughout the course of the I don't know what you want to call it, your chili cookout or something. But so tell us what goes on there. So.
Oh well, the fire drums all came out last year, so that was a natural thing coming out this year.
Yep.
And I just got a fire drum myself and put it on this concrete pad, and people were coming around, and I saw these the legend boys got pushed out of their pit area because it rained that much they couldn't park there.
Oh.
So they ended up parking, a bunch of them, probably about 7 or 8 of them, were all parked in with us wingless. And I was standing over in their bit, looking over at us standing around the fire, and I went, hey, you bastards, get over here and stand around this fire and talk some crap, So that was it. It was just great. And we were all there talking and carrying on, and everybody that walked by, you'd be, being cheeky, and it was great. Jolly's had one over there. The old Claxton hat guys were going off, and it was just fire drums everywhere. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I heard a lot about the after the racing, festivities going on there, and that was good because I think what you have in a lot of sort of racetracks is everyone gets in their own segregated areas that we don't have a lot of mingling, and we came from when we came into Speedway with Legend cars, and they're a good bunch of guys, and and wingless people are a good bunch of guys too. And I'm sure the car guys, everyone's a good bunch of guys. It's just because they stick to themselves. But I like how you sort of brought everyone together, and I got told like you'd go to fire barrels and there's wingless guys talking to people who drove Amcas or Legend cars. And
Yep.
they had no idea before they're talking about different cars and how it drives. I thought it was very good. So hats off to you for helping create an atmosphere like that. That's awesome for you to do. So
Yeah. Yep.
the next night, tell us a story about the next night. Who opened their mouth?
I had a shocker night. I ended up stuffing up with the setup. I just did something wrong in the shed and didn't realise it till the second night of racing. And anyway, so my qualifying was terrible. But anyway, the boys knew that we were going to invert the top 8. And and Jolly walks past me, and I'm digging him in the ribs because I'm just stirring him up. He's just I like young Jacob Jolly, and he goes, I reckon we should invert the whole field. And I went, what? He goes, yeah, I reckon we should flip the whole field. I said, well, if you just want to flip the field, how about after the last round of heats, I'll get all the boys together, and if everybody votes for it, we'll do it. And we did that. We all got together. I told them, they all wanted to know their points. And I said, how about you vote on the concept before you get your points? And they all voted. And then I got their points, and a couple of them were like, oh, I wouldn't have voted that way. I knew that. And then a couple of them went, how come you're up the front, Eggins? And I said, that's what happens when you have a bad night. So anyway, I ended up going to 4th, I think.
Yep.
Because I was supposed to be down the back. And anyway, I made hay early and started getting the whip out on the arse and going.
Yep. So how many laps did you lead?
I think I led 40. I think I got into the lead lap 4, I think.
Really?
Yeah, so I was sort of, everyone was just sorting them out, and I was not wanting to go hell for leather because I haven't got the stamina like I used to have. Like I used to be able to just drive a dirt mod 50 laps, flat strap.
Yep.
I can't do that. Can't do that anymore. That's when you get old, you just start wearing out. But anyway, I just went, these blokes are pissing me off. So I just hooked in around the outside and started going. And the whole time I was just racing, who's behind me? That Jolly's got to be there somewhere, blah, blah. And it was kind of a real shame that Trent Martin had a massive crash in the heats, and he was blistering fast all weekend. Like he set a 13.8 around the track.
Yeah, right.
It was just so fast. We couldn't believe it, and so it was a pity he wasn't in the final because it would have been a hell of a ding dong, because old Trent, when he's on his game, he gives old Jolly a hard time, but he's had some terrible mechanical problems last year, and just electrical things. But anyway, it was good. Old Jake, we've all seen the video. He tromped around the outside of everyone and hunted me down because I was just wearing out, puffing like an old bull.
Yep.
Anyway, when I'd start hearing him, I'd have a couple of glances up at the old video thing. The old eyes don't work that quick anymore, but I'd go, that's that car. So I'd pick up the pace for 2 or 3 laps and it'd buy me a bit of time. But then I end up tapping the back of me. So yeah, he spun out and went to the back. So it gave me a breather for a bit longer.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it was a great race. Long race. You don't realise how long 50 is when you... And the track had some character about it. She had some holes in it.
Yeah, she wasn't. Definitely was not the track we had at the Australian title at all. Like racy, fast. Like she was fast, and as you said, she was going. So how was it?
But I personally, I love those holy tracks. I like a track that's gets a bit of roughness about it. That you have to think about how you send your car into it.
Yep.
And but yeah, I like it. It was a good track. You could actually pass. It was 2 lane, 3 lane if you wanted to. So
Yeah, I think that was just watching. I was meant to go up. I thought Mr. Mark Blight was going to call me up to be his crew guy, but he decided to run without me. So probably a smart move, Mark. Well done. But I watched it on TV at home, and I remember sitting there thinking, man, 50 laps. I wonder how this is going to go. And just within like the first 2 laps, like it was 3 wide sometimes. Like you're thinking, far out. This wasn't the Australian titles.
No, it was a pity that didn't happen for the title.
Yeah,
it was just that's the way it was on that night. But that track we had in the 50 lapper would have been awesome in the final for a title.
Oh, absolutely. But I think just to have that track for 50 laps was perfect. Like they did a great job. 50 laps to try and keep the racing going. Hats off to them. Whoever was the track curator on that night did a fantastic job. It was very entertaining, and it's definitely going to. I feel it's definitely going to bring some more cars for this coming season's Chile Nationals. It has to.
I have a little dream of seeing over 50 and 60 cars there. I love hearing that down in Victoria, and I'd love to see it happen up here. We've got to 38 and 42 at T-Bar. Had a couple of those red hot summer things.
King of the Ring and stuff like that.
Yep. So, you just look down the pits and you're like, look how many bloody cars are here. It's just unreal.
Yep.
I've never seen that many cars at a race meeting in a class I'm racing before.
Right.
Level. Yeah.
Yeah. So we used to be very. I'm going to use the word I was once told by Barry Waldron down in Parramatta days. We were very spoiled. We didn't know what we had at the time till it was gone. With a venue like that, with the fact that they raced nearly every weekend, like every weekend over summer, there was a race, whether it be sprint cars, speed cars, whether it be late models, whatever it was. There was always a meeting on, and we had the big screen, we had Globe View, we had all the stuff that I think was almost. I'll get in trouble for saying trend setting, but now we look at it and we've gone to countries and people don't want to travel, and people you've sort of found out who were your diehard racers and who weren't. You know what I mean? So. But one thing I did notice when we first sort of joined in the division, we used to have a lot of 50-lap races, and that's one thing I've always penciled in your race. Pardon me, sorry, the June race.
My race.
I keep thinking your race. I keep thinking, I'm sorry. The June race at Lismore there, and I know last year they had I know this is all about wingless, but last year they had the wingless. You had your same deal again with the 50 lapper, but also they had like the Legend Car Australian title or something like that was on as well. Out in Branty. We were meant to have a car up there for that, but we didn't. Last minute, we were trying to load the car up and had an electrical fire, so let's not go there with that thing. But in saying that, this year we're going to be back with the wingless, and I'm really looking forward to it. But one thing I noticed when we first started, as I was trying to say, we used to have a lot of 50-lap races. You used to have like Archerfield, you had Sydney. I know you guys had one, but Lismore there, we had a couple in Victoria. Mildura, I think, had one. Murray Bridge had a 50 or a 60. Can't remember. I think they had a 60. We used to have, and now New South Wales don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know I've mentioned this before, and some other my guests on other episodes have brought up something that's going to be happening in the future. This week it got announced, obviously, that a new series is going to be starting up, and I don't know whether to call you the brainchild of that one either, but let us know, inform us about this whole Master Series, because that's where I'm going with that. So whoever was asking 50 lappers, blame this guy, okay? He heard you, and here's what he's got for you.
Well, look, basically myself and Bruce Hill and Rebecca Hill, Queensland. Bruce is the president, and Rebecca does all the secretary stuff. And we're always chatting, and we run into each other at meetings, and we often talk. And Bruce and Rebecca say, we need to put a series together. And even Chris Catchpole, a couple of years before, he even said to me, he said, we need to get a series going, Ray, between New South Wales, you guys down there, and us. And a few things have been thrown around and nothing stuck at the wall, when it got thrown. And we just sort of, anyway, I rang back this year and went, it's looking at us in the face. And she goes, what? I said, have you noticed we've got, you've got 350 lappers in Queensland? She goes, yeah, that just popped up this year. Those tracks just wanted 50 lappers. Gladstone had one last year. They had the Kingaroy one. Bundaberg come on board with one. Anyway, I said, leave it with me. I'm going to do some sorting out. I rang Grafton. They said, yep, we're on board. I come up with a couple of names, threw them all around, asked a few people, and that Wingless Masters seemed to be the one that stuck.
Yep.
And off we went. And I've just been putting together people that would do promotional videos and T-shirts and stickers, and I'm a little bit, I don't know what the word is, humbled at the people that have got behind it just since we released that video on Saturday night.
Man, what an incredible video that was.
Oh, I think I've watched it 178 times. It's just unreal.
I'm up there 150 plus. Like, I'm just like watching it over. You learn something new every time. I sat there watching. I'm looking at the picture behind, and then it took me like the third or fourth time watching. I'm like, oh, hang on, there's writing on the screen. What am I?
Yep.
So it's like every time you watch it, you're like, oh, there's another race. Hats off for that promotional work. Like, that video was amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's Grant Fowler.
Yep.
You know, Harry Fowler's father, and he runs the Clay View for Lismore. So that's why Clay View and Lismore's so well run. That's what he does. He's been in media all his life.
Yep.
And we've become really good friends since Harry and his dad bought that car off me. I built a car up and I built it with the intention to give guys a drive. And anyway, I just said to Harry there one day, you need to jump in it. Anyway, we've become good friends, and yeah, that was just I was just amazed that he nailed it, I reckon. All I said to him is, we need something that gets the blood pumping.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
Right takes, right sort of film work, then with the music behind it. I thought it was fantastic. Got me going, that's for sure. I think it's what we need in the off season. We need something just to remind us, hey, you know, even though we're out there doing our day-to-day jobs, we're also heavily involved in this awesome sport, so that's good. So, talk to me about the series. How many rounds we got?
5.
5 rounds?
Yep.
The first one, 9th of November, at Kingaroy.
Yep, Shane Ryan Memorial. That's been around for a few years. That Shane, I never knew this Shane Ryan, but he was sort of like a bloke early in the piece with the Wingless and involved, you know, and but yeah, that's been a stable thing in the Queensland calendar for years.
Yep.
It's gone to Kingaroy. I think it used to be in Brisbane, or that might have been the Brisbane one.
Right,
I'm not actually sure. But yeah, it's gone to Kingaroy, and so that's the first one.
Have you ever been to Kingaroy?
Yeah, unreal.
Yeah,
love it.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of like Lismore but flatter.
What? How you get flatter than Lismore?
Yeah, I know, it's weird, and it feels wider.
Yeah,
and it can go rough, but when it goes slick, you end up running the wall, like rubbing your right rear against the wall, and you're going 3 wide on the slick. It's just amazing track. But
3 wide on the slick.
Yeah, it's an awesome place.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cross between, to me, it's a bit of a cross between Grafton. If you've been to Grafton, it's got big old camphor trees, like really massive, like fig trees, camphor trees on one side, and Kingaroy has the same.
Yeah, okay.
So it reminds me, but it's got sort of Lismore's type of shape, that round shape where you just wind it up.
Yep. Okay. So that sounds like it's got a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, nice grass pits, like beautiful pits.
Oh, really?
All that yeah. So it's a really, it's a showground venue, but it's really nice and dry.
Nice. Okay. So yes, Kingaroy sounds like it's going to be a goer. I have watched Kingaroy with the I'm going to get shot for saying this. I don't know if it's street stocks or something. They do slank up there. I swear they do, and I do watch it. I'll admit I watch it. Sorry, guys. The next one's 8th of February at Grafton, and we've got there the Jacaranda 50.
Yep.
So obviously you've been to Grafton. Give us a bit of a brief on Grafton. So
no, Grafton, same thing again. It's got that round, sort of flat track. they've put a bit of clay into that track over the last couple of years, so it's got faster and faster. And the Corbett boys running it down there, doing a pretty good job down there. So they're right into it. They're always trying to promote something. We didn't race there last year. Don't know why. But anyway, I rang him this year and had a chat, and he goes, "Yep, come on board, Ray."
Yeah, so, nice.
We've only got 2 shows. We could have taken 4, but we would end up clashing with the Queensland calendar.
Okay.
So we just thought we'd work on the 2 and make 2 really good ones, and we can talk about it next year for more.
Yep. One thing I like about Grafton is it's literally in the middle of town.
Yeah,
like it is.
You walk 1 block and you're at the biggest shopping centre in the place.
Yeah, like it is so in the middle of town, and I just remember thinking, holy. But anyway, we've never had a race meeting cut. We've never had hit curfew. We've raced all our meetings every time I've been there, and I'm thinking, how is this happening? And for anyone who, like us, we like to we take the motorhome and all this. Yeah, it's like a campground facilities. Like, it's fantastic. Like, I'm sure Kingaroy's probably the same. I've just never been, so apologies, Kingaroy. Round 3, we got at Gladstone on the 10th of May. Oh no, sorry, pardon me. I've jumped one. Round
Bundy.
3. Yeah, 3rd and 4th of May at Bundaberg, and you've got this. I like the name of this, Ray. I do. Rum City 50. How awesome is that? I think that's a great name. Rum City 50. So, have you been to Bundaberg?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Give us a spill on Bundaberg.
It's long. It's got massive straights.
Yeah.
And the corners you'd say the corners are probably similar to Archfield.
Okay.
But it feels like it's nearly twice as long down the straights.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so you're cranking her trying to pull her up at the end.
Jeez.
You know, but I've only been there once. It's the sedan guys, they tend to go 2 and 3 wide around there, you know.
Yep.
So I remember I think the race I went to was it was that Queensland title, that Jolly one.
Oh, okay.
That Storer was there. Storer was there, and they had a bit of a ding dong, but I wasn't in the final. I didn't make it, but he was but
that was the start of Jolly's little dynasty of him winning. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, his dominance.
Yes. Still going. Oh, jeez. All right, so Bundy's, that sounds like a good one. Rum City. I don't know if you can get some sponsorship off some rum company for that one. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. I'll come for that. Sorry, pardon me. Now we've got round 4, which is 10th of May at Gladstone with the Gladdy 50. Obviously, you've been up there too?
No, I haven't been to Gladstone.
No?
No.
I've never been up there on race weekend. In my normal day-to-day life, I do a lot of FIFO work, so I've done a lot of work out of offshore Gladstone there, and I know when they had someone else will probably tell us the story better than I can because I'm talking pub talk, but back when they had COVID and everything locked down, McCoskey went and got all these guys, and they took over the speedway there to get them all trained up on machinery and that sort of stuff, and they did a fantastic revamp of the venue, and now we've got Gladstone Speedway that can host sprint car races and wingless and all the rest, and they're pushing the Clover views. It's almost like another Barry Waldron story, but they're
doing a job up there.
Oh, huge job! And I've seen like the racing that I've seen so far on Clover View with sprint cars and wingless, that sort of stuff. It's only going to get better too. I think. For me, the limitation on that place is just simply distance. You know? But apart from that, like if you so the Bundaberg round 3 and round 4 being so close that they are, you may as well just take a bit of a holiday. Yeah, and at that time of year, the weather's better up there than it is in Sydney or Melbourne or Victoria. So, all right, so the Gladstone 50. Okay, talk to me about dealing with those guys, or was this all the Queensland club who did these guys?
Those dates were already in, and those 50 lappers were already there.
Perfect.
And that's what I said to Beck. Hey, it's looking us in the face. Yeah. Let's do something.
So who came up with the name of the Gladstone 50? Was that you?
Well, I chucked all the names in there. I just threw them in to give them something.
Yep.
But the Gladstone 50, I wanted to call it the gas pipe 50 or something like that because I think they got a lot of gas or something. But I don't know much about Gladstone.
They do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So I think
but
it was last year I spent just over 6 months in Gladstone, offshore Gladstone last year. So really, I should have had a Queensland license. But anyway, yeah, they got a lot of gas up there.
yeah, but those names might change because the Queensland club might get a sponsor and it might, evolve into that.
Yeah.
So
I think one thing I do like about this race, and this is just coming from me, and I'm very opinionated and all that, and I understand, but I like races that you go to that have an identity. You know what I mean? Like
yep,
it's got something. It's not just
yep,
it's got some. I like identities because from that it builds on things. So I see this being successful based on the fact that you've given them names, you've given them an identity, and it's going to go from there. I think that's great. The last race, obviously, on the calendar will be the 8th, 9th of June, Lismore, and that's your Chile Nationals, another 50 lap. Obviously, it's going to be successful.
yep.
Now, talk to me about how it's running. So you've got 5 rounds. Are you dropping a worst round?
Yeah, that's 5 rounds. Drop your worst round.
Yep.
There is going to be appearance points on every round just for turning up.
Yep.
And you get to keep those appearance points.
Okay.
So if you turn up to 5, you can at least keep your appearance points, sort of thing. But that's the only thing you'll keep. That's only going to be like a heat set of points or something like that. It's not going to be like a whole round of points, sort of thing.
Okay.
But it's not about, if someone can only do 1-2 races, just come and run 1 or 2. Be part of the big show.
Yeah.
For the bit you can do. If you can do the whole 4 or 5, you never know. You could only do 4 and you might get knocked out in one. You only really get 3. So,
Yeah.
but it's just the blokes who chase the series part.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, and I'm just saying to everyone, you're welcome. Just come and race.
Yep.
Just come and be part of whatever race you can turn up to in those 50.
Yeah. Absolutely. So what else we got there for? You got points on features. Yep.
Yeah. So to sort out the 2 night shows.
Yep.
So instead of taking on a 2-night show, you'll take all your points from a first set of heats and mini finals and a second set of heats on the second night.
Yep.
On the single nights and the double nights, however you qualify, meaning from 1 to 30, that's how you'll take your points. So you'll just get qualifying points.
Okay. Yep.
So you'll still start the final how you qualify, but if you're down here in 22nd or 28th, you'll take 28th points. You won't take your heat points, because a bloke could turn up on the 2-nighters and probably take more points than someone that went to 4 or 3 of the normal races. Sort of thing. So that's how we sorted out that.
No, that's smart thinking.
Yep.
And what are you doing? You're doing trophies down to 5th, 1st to 5th?
Yep. End of series, 1st to 5th.
1st, 5th, yep.
I think they're starting at about 3 or 4 foot high, something like that. So
yeah.
I said to the trophy guy, make it that it's uncomfortable to put somewhere that's nearly a pain in the ass for the next 20 years that you own it.
You know what's so annoying, right? Whenever you go get one of these trophies, I don't know, we always end up taking one of our little coots or whatever they are. And Tyson, when we take his trophy home because he wants to go out and party and all the rest, and we got to try and put that somewhere in the car. It's just like it just doesn't go anywhere nicely. It's either going to scratch into the leather. Oh, anyway, good work on that one, Ray. I like it. What else did I pick up here? Sorry, there was something else. So just to make sure, no nomination fees.
No.
Nope, no nomination fees. Now
I sort of got a hate against. I don't know why. I just dislike nomination fees.
Me too.
Yeah, don't try and fund it and make this. This is my opinion. Don't make somebody pay $150 and only pay him 90 back. Because you're sort of taking it from the little bloke and putting it at the top. And so I reckon just make the show good.
Yep.
And gather a few sponsors and feed it down the line like that,
I think you hit the nail on the head when you called it a show. If we wanted to go back to race tarmac or asphalt racing, that's where you pay a lot of money and you get nothing. But then you look at the crowd they bring. Yep. These things bring a crowd, but we can be in trouble talking about that all along.
I'm 55, so I grew up in Lismore. I was probably 8 years old or something like that, or younger. My old man and mum would take me up to the speedway. I'd sit in the grandstand with big eyes watching all the Granville Andersons and John Pines and Ron Pines and, Les Lights and all those guys, and some of those American shows where they brought the Yanks out and they had them in Camaros and Corvettes, and they were just amazing. Those shows, they were just putting on a show, and to a kid, it was, it's probably a lot of bullshit going on in there, but to a kid, it was just unreal, and I totally loved it. So I can't help wanting to make something similar,
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Trying to create that atmosphere sort of thing that I felt back then.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think it's great. I like what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, and I from what you've already started to do with this Chile Nationals, I'm hearing a lot of people like 50 lappers. I think it's only a matter of time before we had something. I mean, yeah, I'm going to try our best to get to some of these, but yeah, with other races coming up around the country, we don't know where we're going to be. But I was concerned when I first heard about this. I was talking with Mark Blyton about it, and we're trying to work out our season and what we've heard about races here, there, and everywhere. And he goes, "Oh, have you heard about the Masters Series?" I sat there thinking, whenever I hear Masters Series in racing, it's always been like a 40 and over or 50 and over, whatever the case may be. And I'm sitting there thinking, Mark, I don't race, and Tyson's too young. Like, where are we going with this? And he goes, "No, it's just the name." And he sort of explained the concept to me. And I thought, "Oh, geez, hang on." So, that's obviously why we connected there and had a quick chat about this. And I thought, man, I don't want anyone else to break the news. You released the video on Saturday. It was a fantastic video, and hopefully this is just a good way to get everyone to catch up to steam on what's going to happen. By any chance, and I know I'm going to throw it on the bus here, a lot of positive things I heard about the Chile Nationals was drivers were appreciated by the sponsors on the night and that sort of stuff. Driver went out there, won a heat or whatever, and ended up picking up an extra banana or something like that in their pocket. Are we going to be talking about a pineapple? Sorry, my bad.
Banana.
Siri likes the bananas. Are we going to be talking about sort of similar sort of deals when it comes to this series? What do you think?
I'm not sure what I can do in Queensland. You can only plant the seed and see if we can do something, and it'll probably depend on a little bit of whatever sponsorship or something comes away. But the Chile Nationals, I'm going to try and keep that. Yep. That's kind of our deal here, and it's easier down here because I know every second person, so I can sort of talk the talk with them. But it's hard when you're out of town and you don't even know a person who's in that. But I think there's potential there for it to grow, so it mightn't happen this year, but we can build on it every year and do something like that.
Okay. So, no, that's good, because that's one thing. Like, I know people are going to be asking, and it was a thing when I've sort of spoken to people. I said, "Oh, you can't really say anything, but this is what I think's happening." That's how I start my. Have you heard about this yet? Might be happening. Before we go, I know there's been a few topics we've spoken about, and I don't want to give people the wrong idea when we're talking about the value and the cost of these cars, right? And I know you're pretty big on trying to bring new people into the sport on a budget level, and that can still be done with these cars, and these cars can still run competitively. There's no reason not to. But as we know, there's people at the other spectrum who don't come with an open trailer and come with like an apartment on wheels, Jacob Jolly, and nice race cars and all the rest. Yeah, not naming any names. I think John Egan now has got another one too. I'm looking at these guys in their trucks. I'm thinking, far out. But the money is there to spend if you want to, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to with these cars, and especially with our engine packages we have at the moment. How the engines move forward in the future and stuff, I'm not sure where that will play out, but I just know at the moment, I mean, how easy is it for you up there in Lismore to, let's say I call you up and I need a motor, I need a wrecker motor. How easy is it for you to still find me a wrecker motor?
Look, you come across them, like I've found two this year because we launched an engine this year and built it in the shed. And I've never built an engine ever. And I went back to, I used to build me motorbike, me speedway bike engines, throw them together. But so I lent on a mate and he come over and he did all the, the little measure and stuff. And we put it all back together. She got the old shed hone and
yeah.
That motor ran at the Chile Nationals was just a throw together, and it goes great,
yep.
But yeah, it's look, I probably I don't the 50 the thing about we got $50,000 cars or something like that. That doesn't bother me. Probably it worries me that I've heard a couple of people go, "Oh, the cars are expensive now, so we need to ask more money." And I don't think that's possible. I think we could build up a show and get more money, but I don't think you could just rock up and ask for more money.
Absolutely not. I agree with you on that one. I think the reason, well, in Sydney anyway, the reason why cars cost more, and I'm speaking from first hand, is because we shut down sprint car racing for a number of years, whether you like it or not. Like, we went from having all these Americans and interstaters come flock to our local track at Valvoline Raceway there over the summer, that they would sell their gear, you know what I mean, or tear something up, but it'd still be good enough for wingless, as everyone likes to say. So we used to have parts floating around here and there. Well, you stop the sprint cars from running, wingless keep continuing on for a couple more years, and we're bending stuff like crazy, and before you know it, you can't find secondhand diffs, front ends, whatever. So you got to go buy brand new, and that's where the cost comes in. Also, obviously, as you know, new chassis have gone up in price, but I don't know which one you buy. So to spend $50 on a car is extremely easy, but it doesn't mean it has to happen. So instead of like where we used to have a influx of secondhand chassis in like Sydney, well, now we've got them in Victoria. We get them out of Queensland. WA's got stacks of them. It's just you obviously have to work out a logistics side. So I think the 50K comment about cars, it is real. People are spending that much because they're buying everything brand new. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you've got to win. Like,
no, I don't know where I'm going to go with this, but okay, look, me and Jolly on the night there of that Chile Nationals. Old Jake's got a great car. He's just talented beyond recognition. It's just unbelievable what he's got, and he's fit as a fiddle. He's built like a racehorse.
He's young.
I'm like an old staffy dog that's on its last legs, and my car's a good car. It's a good car, but I've got the same shocks on it that I bought 3 years ago, and I haven't taken them off, and so there's only this much in it, and is that the talent or is that the gap? So it's quite amazing how, if you said my car, when I built it, it cost me $23,000 to build, right? So I sold all my modified parts and bought wingless stuff, and that's what I come up with that car. And I built a good car. I did buy a new diff. That was a second-hand, or not second-hand, but a new diff that was 5 years old, sitting in a bloke's shed in a box still. But so I bought some new parts and old parts and put it together, and it's a nice car. But I say to a lot of blokes who turn up with cars that are sort of 15 grand, and I go, man, the car doesn't know it's got a bad paint job. The car doesn't know that Heim joint's 2-year-old. As long as all them things go up and down and don't bind, torque tube goes around and round, everything works in harmony, you can make this car get the car. It can be a car that might run in 15th, and all of a sudden you can get it running in 12th if you've got the talent to drive it. So because you still got to have that talent thing, and how to pick the track, and all those things. You got to get tick all them boxes.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree with you 100%. Yep.
I do like how the class has got quite a diversity in componentry, but they come together with older car and a bit of talent, and it all comes together.
Well, I think You can go and look at the Australian title, for example, what just went, and I know you've got cars in there that cost 50, and I know you've got cars in there that will put together around 15,000. So,
Yep.
and I know that firsthand. So it's sort of using your money the right way if you don't have a lot to rely on people with the right. I'm going to call it as I said, people with honesty and integrity to show you the right parts to buy, not the here I'm offloading a front end that's flogged out like crazy, but I'm not going to tell you, and then you realise the kingpins are shot and all the rest. You got to push it, but I think with that sort of stuff, you can spend your money and get something going. But Wingless still is the most affordable bang for buck open wheel division, hands down.
Yeah.
Especially when you go and look at speed cars. And I'm not knocking speed cars. I love a speed car. But you can tell at like Eastern Creek, Parramatta, you could tell at Archfield, a car that had an older motor and a $110,000 TRD motor. You could tell them apart because one was crossing the start finish line, the other one was just going into turn two. Like, it's a huge difference. And same with sprint cars. Like, you could tell the guys who are it sounds slack to say this, but who are working for wages to the guys whose dads own a civil construction company or something like that. You could just tell the difference. They had 110 or 100 grand motors to 40 grand motors. You could see. Whereas Wingless, you don't see that. Like, I think
no, it's look, I think I think every time we think about doing something in the class, we should think, are we going to grow a couple of extra numbers or lose a couple of extra numbers?
Yep.
Not actually just do it because we reckon we should do it, sort of thing. So we should think about it because I would imagine Wingless had more cars 10 years ago. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's got now, 350 or something like that, or so but I don't really. I love the class and it's full of numbers, and I know what we try and do here. We just because a lot of people do look over the fence and they're looking for a 12 or 15 grand car, which is hard to get now. It's hard to find that type of car, but the odd one pops up.
Yeah, I mean,
I've hopefully surprise it.
In the last 2 weeks, I think I've seen them around the 14 to 15. I still think I saw a $12,000 car that I sort of sent to Blight. I said, "What's the go here?" But you still get them. You definitely can still get them. But I think one thing Wingless has done is they've tried to keep the engine package. Some people say for too long, whatever. I'm not going to get into that argument. I still firmly believe you can still get those motors. You may not be able to get new parts, and that's where people are arguing next. All right, well, that's not my job to tell you what we're going to do there, but we can still get those motors. There are still cars sitting somewhere. And the way the cars are working and operating, they're very affordable to operate. Hopefully the tyres aren't too bad from what we've all seen. Like, I mean, I didn't hear anyone crying after the Chile Nationals, for example, on tyres. I haven't heard any negative.
The track was mint.
Yeah, I haven't
the track was mint at the.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything bad about it. Sorry?
No, I was going to say I had I had a brand new Hoosier sitting in my trailer. I bought it 2 years ago, and I've never put it on because I swore blind I wouldn't put that tyre on until I qualified on the front row. And so I actually had to put it on because it was the offset wheel I wanted for them bumps, because when I looked over the fence I went, holy crap, that track's gone rough. I needed that wheel to shove the old wheel out. I went, oh dear, looks like this Hoosier's going to get wrecked. And it's still got the cross hatches in it, and still some tits on one side. Yeah, after 50 laps. So,
right.
Yeah, so the track was good on the Chile Nationals. So the moisture in the track, there was still moisture in the track.
Yeah, I mean, I've still heard that track was good. So I think as far as Wingless goes, bang for buck, he's still miles in front. And we just got to.
But that tyre too, I got one of them Durameter things or whatever you call them, and it tested at 39.
You're heading down a dark road here, Ray. We're heading down a dark road saying this.
Why? No, don't they say a lot of the later ones are going softer?
Rumour said, I don't want to be shot by like Trump, so I'm just not going to say anything. Rumour is, perhaps softer, but I'm not too sure. As I said, we said on a previous episode, we ran new tyres from at least one of the Mildura runs we did. And I found we were getting, I know it sounds stupid, like people are still going to say 2 races on a wingless. Well, maybe I should interview I should have a chat with the guys from, Larry Fitzpatrick's Racing or Autosport to see what they were getting out of tyres as well. It is what it is, I think. But I don't recall tyres all year to be a problem until that hot laps at Lismore just scared everybody. Whoa.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I was glad I didn't buy them. Actually, a bloke went and bought them for me, and he bought me MC2s because he could buy the MC2s $30 cheaper.
Really?
So I ran MC2s.
Oh, you smart man.
But that's just what I had. It's just, but for some reason, I like the MC2. It gives you a little bit of edge grip for some reason.
Over a Hoosier?
No, it's the American Racer.
No, I'm saying over a Hoosier, it gives you the edge grip?
In Lismore, just slightly. It just, for some reason, but I don't know whether I'm nuts or not.
No, I mean, I'm sure there's a difference. I don't know. I don't drive, so I like hearing this. This is great.
Yeah, but it's only on that initial turn in sort of thing. It just catches the car. But I've mucked around mucking from Hoosier to this and that, and I like the Hoosier when there's bumps. So
okay.
Yeah. So
there you go.
But Jake Jolly runs a American Racer all the time. Man, doesn't slow him up.
No.
So there's nothing in him, sort of thing.
No, I think he can. He could put on almost a slick and still run up there too. He's just an absolute freak of a driver, and a real nice guy, which sort of makes you think, well, where's he? Where does he learn this? But he's just. I mean, I'm going to put it down to being a tar guy. I think I was going to put it down to him racing go-karts in the tar as a kid. I think I'll put it down to that.
Actually, I haven't really said this to him, but I'm always gonna hear it now. Since I've been racing the wingless, every time the track goes slick, the boys go up the top chasing the brown, and I just set up and run the gutter.
Yep.
And I've snuck through a few times and got right to the front. I have won one on Jacob, sorry.
Yeah.
And I've just done a few things like that, moved from 11th up to 2nd and 3rds, and even Jake's gone. Every time it goes slick, I'm looking for you, looking up at the video camera.
Yep.
At the big screen. Where's that bloody Eggy? Because he knows I can get it around the gutter, and I think to myself, I might have just taught him a few things, cover his line, So,
you've given away your secrets.
Yeah, no, look, it's good racing. We've had a lot of really good races up here in Lismore.
Yep.
And it was a pity the title just didn't fall that way. But we have some great races up here. Like, anyway, that's just the way it fell on the night, Yeah. Not every race is a great race. So sometimes you get your best races at a club show.
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting to find someone who went away from that Australian title unhappy.
No, the event is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I asked this to everyone, and probably people get bored of it, but you ever been to Mildura?
No.
You going to go there for the Australian title this season?
I'd like to. I'd like to. It's kind of on my list next year.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a good event. I'm a massive fan of Mildura. I think it's a great track. I'm hoping, from the people I know from there, they're going to put on an event that's going to be worthy, sort of follow up from the Lismore Australian title. But yeah, only time will tell. But Ray, look, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to have a chat tonight. Thanks for explaining to us the Masters series, because, as I said, I don't know if anyone else, when they saw Masters, thought A, you had to be over 50 or 40, or B, we're playing with golf clubs. I don't know, but neither of them apply. Everyone's welcome. I'm going to look forward to actually joining in and getting a few of those series yourselves. So I can't wait for that. But
that's all right.
Look, I try and give everyone a bit of an opportunity when they come online here, just to say thank you to people who help them get around the track. So if you've got any sponsors, partners, anything like that, you just want to give a shout out to, who make your life easy to get out to the track there?
Look, my sponsors, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. Whoever makes life easy for you, mate.
I'll give a shout out to just my sponsors on my car. I'll start with JoJo's Cafe and Jaden Nielsen Detailing, Stanger Autos, Speedway Stickers, and Fire and Earthen Road, which is me, and Shack Speedway Picks. Those guys help me out on my car heaps, and that keeps the old orange beast rattling around. And and a massive shout out to that Grant Fowler from GFX Media for doing that Masters video. That's just unreal. And he said that's not the last one. He said there's more to come.
Oh,
so
get me excited, Ray.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. He's keen. He's just pumped, and so.
No, that's good.
Good things to come.
Before I let you go, you've forgotten someone, Ray. Come on, she's probably sitting there looking at you.
Oh, Super South.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
Yep. There you go. All right, mate. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Yeah, I really appreciate your effort and time, and I look forward to catching up if we can throughout the season. Have a bit of a chat, debrief of your races. Okay.
Yep. No worries, buddy.
All right.
Good job with this podcast, mate. It's awesome.
No, I appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. Stay tuned for episode 6. I'm not sure who we're going to have on for that one, but yeah, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys then. Thank you.